is Ariel. I'm the grandson of Marvin and Phyllis, and son of Claudia, Shelley, and Robert. What's so funny about that? I had talked with Marvin for a while actually about creating a film for today. Started doing like a special video presentation, and we sat together. Michael and Phyllis were in on it too, and we wrote this whole concept. I didn't get a chance to do it, but I'll sort of walk you through it. And we were going to play it right here. Right here. So taps would start playing over black, and you'd start with a montage of Marvin as a soldier. We'd sort of go through photos of his life. And that would go on for about 40 seconds or so, and then you'd see Phyllis sort of walk through the doors in a black veil and start walking down the aisle here, and just like his military funeral, just like this, the coffin would be laid out and the American flag would be draped over it, and the camera would sort of drift past Phyllis as she approached the coffin, and the flag would be taken off and folded. And then just as the camera got to the end, the top would pop off and Marvin would pop up. and he'd have a big smile on his face and he'd say, "That's life." And that was literally the plan. And we had started going through the motions to do that. He was into it. We didn't get a chance to do it, but we got a chance to do a lot of other things. I don't know what this feeling is. It's not sadness. It's not like I feel kind of lucky. Everyone's coming in there and they're saying, you know, what a great guy, I'm so sorry. And I don't feel sorry yet. I feel happy. I know, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm sure I'll have some sort of emptiness any moment now, but I had almost 30 years with this guy as a buddy. I mean, I put him on my list of best friends. I mean, I grew up with him. How many grandsons get to say that you spend time with a guy, not just until I'm a toddler, or, I mean, I literally went from being a 5-year-old at the World Series. Remember the '86 World Series? We were there, Game 6. Yeah, we left early. I think it was Marvin's idea. I never let him forget that. Yeah. So I grew up, I was a top, that's my first memory. That was my oldest memory. And then a couple years later, we moved into his building, and I was sort of, ages 8 to 12, we were living downstairs, taking the elevator up every night, having dinner with Phyllis and Marvin, sort of like a second set of parents sort of thing. So I went through that phase of life, and then high school. I just remember this today. I was going to school up in the Bronx, and it was sort of on the way to Braeburn, and I started scheduling my classes later, and we would drive up together and play golf in the mornings before school. And I'd get to school like 10:30. We'd go play really early, and we started hanging out. And that's when, maybe 14, 15, we became friends. And we're talking about school and life and girls, and playing golf once or twice a week. I mean, you know, that takes a couple hours. And then I had a whole other phase that was college, and you know, I guess I was sort of becoming a man, and he was trying to set me up with women. He was really, his pickup lines were just incomparable. So you sort of learn, you know, you might as well go for it. Why not? But he sort of had that problem, which is like, once you get to a certain age, all younger women just seem like younger women, which is fine. But he'd set me up with these girls at the club or something, and then I'd say, "Marvin, what are you doing?" She's 8 years old. And he'd be like, I can't tell. And then post-college, there was a whole nother phase. We started collaborating, which is crazy. And I don't know anyone who has this relationship with their grandfather. we made 5 movies together. I mean, the first movie I ever made was starring him. And he was playing the husband of my grandmother, Tony, on the other side of the family, who he had incidentally dated in college in like the 40s, which is crazy. But there was, I mean, he was totally game. There was even a sex scene between the two of them. And then the film ends with him loading a rifle and killing a duck in the backyard and then shoveling it and burying it. It was totally weird. But it was a blast. I mean, it was like 3 nights till like 4 in the morning. And then we made another movie where he smoked pot in the movie. You remember that? I mean, the guy was up for everything. It was the only time. That was the night, oh my God, this is one of the best pranks of all time. Oh God, he had this plan the whole night. We went out for dinner, big fish dinner.
Oh no.
Stop me if I get anything wrong, someone correct me. We go back up to the hotel and we're all on a trip, we're in Miami for some reason.
His 80th birthday.
And he doesn't finish his dinner, but he takes it in the bag, a doggy bag home. Okay, we forget that. We're all back in the hotel. For some reason, we all decide to like smoke pot together, which is crazy. And he's 80 years old. We think he's gonna die, but he's laughing. He's still telling jokes. He's funnier than ever. Then he pretends to get really sick, and my mom just like she immediately gets nervous, and he's like, "Buddy, I'm gonna throw up." She's like, "Dad, what is it?" He's like, "Come with me into the bathroom. Come with me into the bathroom." And he stands over the toilet. Who's that? So he's standing over the toilet. Mom's freaking out. You're on like the verge of tears. You think this is it. He's like, open the toilet. I'm gonna throw up. She opens the lid and there's a huge fish head. And she just screams and she starts crying. He just points his finger and he's dying with laughter. He had been planning that prank for like 4 hours. So that's part of the second movie we made together. There was we made a movie last year when we went on the tour of Washington, D.C. I'm gonna start put up a website with all the videos, every movie we've ever made together, called like,
The Old Quack.
Starvin', yeah, moviestarvin.com or something. So anyway, I'll put them all up there and make sure everyone gets to see that. And then the last phase was, I guess, it was sort of like my adult life, sort of, business advice, sort of him. He was extremely proud of both of us, and the fact that we were entrepreneurs, we had a business together, we were partners, we were 50-50. That was sort of like the guiding principle. And we would talk that stuff out. We would talk about how to run a business, how to do it, how to stay friends, how to split everything, down the middle. And, the girl advice continued. I'm sorry I didn't have a grandkid for him. Then a great grandkid. We might have. You never know, right?
Blushing.
I was out to dinner with a friend a couple weeks ago, and we were talking. I was actually with Lowell, my other grandfather, and we were talking about Marvin and what a fantastic guy he was, and about how much he'd inspired me to be a professional, to be a good guy, to run this business, to count on myself, and just to keep persevering. And I suddenly just sort of I just started missing. Like I felt like, holy shit, I gotta go see him right now. And I left the table and I went up to his house, and I just buzzed it. It was late. It was like 10:30. And Phyllis was surprised to see me, but I said, Phyllis, I gotta see him right now. And I went into his room, and he was sitting there on the bed, and he sort of popped up, and he knew I was there. And I just collapsed, and I put my head in his lap. And he looked up and he said, he just had 3 last pieces of advice. And he said, be fair, be honest, and be family. And that was it. And I said, I know. And so if you see me, if you ever see me around, from today until the last day, that's what I'm going to be. All of those things.
Great.